Okay, Shavua back, and it's a very challenging, exciting, and crazy time right now. And we have to try to see what attitude we're supposed to have. I mean, there's many people will say different things at this time, but from a Breslov perspective, what are we supposed to be doing? So I'll give you a scenario that happened in my house Friday night. We just did Kiddush, and between Kiddush and Motzi, the sirens went off in Yerushalayim Friday night. So half my family started panicking, and the other half said, let's take it cool. Listen, the Shabbat is a protection, and the mitzvot of Shabbat is to protect us. And they say, yeah, but pikuach nefesh. Yeah, but the mitzvahs protect us at the same time. Yeah, but pikuach nefesh. So half my family went into the bomb shelter, and half continued, stayed at the table, washed hands, did motzi. They said, we're not going to wait for you guys, you know? You come, you do motzi afterwards. And they were upset. So 10 minutes passed, nothing happened, Baruch Hashem. You can hear a bomb from far. And they came back up and they were upset. We said, listen, you know, there's still a whole challah, you can wash your hands. But we're not scared from these things. The idea, what I'm trying to say is that it's all, the barometer of these situations is your emunah. If people, they start going nuts, they start panicking, oh my God, and they lose it, and okay, let's run. You have people in the family like that, not everyone the same. And other people just take it easy. Listen, we're in Eretz Yisrael, we're in Yerushalayim, okay, it's Shabbat. What more do you want from me, Hashem? What? We're doing our best to be Jews, came all the way here. Now you send a panic, like I'm supposed to start going nuts? The rest of the world, that's their attitude, that's their mentality, so let them go nuts. But I'm doing the maximum of trying to reach a high level of Kedusha to be with you, and knowing that this is our protection. It's like a bubble in a sense. Shabbat is a bubble, Torah studies, Torah life, Torah, living according to Torah is a bubble. Neighborhoods where it's promoting holiness and modesty is a bubble. So all these things, they add up to give us to take it easy. There was a story of Avram Sternhartz. The air conditioning is bothering you, maybe? There's a story of Avram Sternhartz who was in 1948 in the Old City when they were expelled. And many Jews were going haywire because the Jordanians took over the Old City, and they let the old people and mothers and little babies go, and they took hostages about between 100 and 200 men. Okay? And even some little children were taken with the men. So people were amazed. Avram Sternhartz, people were dying left and right. There were missiles landing in the Old City, 1948. So people were really scared. And they noticed that then when there was the announcement for evacuation to leave the Old City, they saw that he came with a little bag, and because it was on a Friday night, they were evacuated Friday afternoon into Shabbos. They see that he took with him a little bottle of grape juice and challahs. And they were so amazed. A man in his 80s in his late 80s, because he passed away like 93, 94 in 1955. So 1948, 7 years earlier, was in his late 80s. Okay, had such yishuv adat. He was so clear-headed in what to bring and not to forget that it's Shabbos. Most people, they were so afraid. Pikuach nefesh. We don't think about Shabbos now. We're thinking about our lives. And this old man, he thought about this, and it helped everybody, because when they were exiled, they brought him to a place called Nachalat Shiva, right outside of the old city walls, and it was Friday night, and then things calmed down. Okay, we have to do Kiddush, Challah, we don't have. He said, I have, here I brought. So he was able for everyone, they thanked him, they were amazed how he had the clarity. And he said afterwards, he went through so much in life that he should have been dead already, after all the pogroms that he went through. So he's not scared of death. He's not scared of dying. He was calm and everything because of his experience that he went through in 1920s, World War I, and then right before World War II, and the communists and everything, and the persecution. So he wasn't really afraid, and his level of emunah was super strong. The idea is that these tests happen. Who knows tonight if there's going to be another siren? Today there was a siren. Who knows? Okay? But your attitude is dependent on your level of emunah and bitachon. You do your shtadl. You don't go nuts. People they forget everything and they say, If you're, it depends. You can't tell people do this, do that. The government has to say what to do. Okay, but now as a God-fearing Jew, and if your life is anyways involved in Torah and mitzvot, which are a protector, so what do you want? It's all dependent on the person's level. So that's all I wanted to say for now. I have no idea what's going to be. I have no idea where I'm holding. I just know that all this, what it's causing people is to be so tense and uptight and sad. It makes them worried, and the worry brings on depression. And like Reb Noson writes in the Likutei Halachot on this discourse, lesson 24, the Likutei HaRan, that the whole goal of the galut, the whole goal of exile, is to make you sad. When the Nazis, they were killing Jews, but it wasn't enough. They wanted them to feel bad about themselves. They put numbers on them. They degraded them. It's not just killing them. It's first making them feel bad and then killing them. Because Reb Noson says that the idea of the goyim is they want to make the Jews have atzvut. Why? Because they themselves are not happy. If the goyim were happy with themselves, they wouldn't be persecuting us. You're persecuting us, you're not happy. Hitler, you want to conquer all Europe. Why? Because you're not happy. Why aren't you happy with Germany? No, we need Austria, we need France, we need everything. We need to get. Why do you need to do this? Because you're not happy with your portion. So the goyim are not happy with their portion. And the Jewish people, the way of Judaism, the way the Torah is built, and Jewish life, is to be happy with your chelik. That's the whole idea. Pikudei Hashem, Yesharim, Besamchei Lev, the statutes of the Torah, of Hashem, they're straightforward and they bring joy to the heart. We have the secret to be happy. Torah study, mitzvot, Shabbat, Sukkot, Pesach, Tzedakah, Purim, all the brachot. We have a happy existence, technically. Technically, we Jews have access to things that bring us the highest happiness. The Goyim don't have that. When there's an envy, why are you after us? Why Khomeini, what do you want with us? You're not happy maybe, but you're not happy with what you have. We have to destroy the Jews. But why? What did we do to you? You're not happy with yourself? You have people who are happy. No. The ones who are after to make it bad for the Jewish people are basically people, individuals or groups that are not happy with themselves. So they can't stand seeing other people who are succeeding and happy, and we have to bring them down. It's like Reb Noson says, the essence of exile is atzvut, and therefore our key is to be b'simcha b'ezrat Hashem. All right. We're going to continue with where we left off in this beautiful letter. Reb Noson wrote this letter, 441. Letter 441. It was written in the year 1843, 1844. We're still in the end of 1843, the year of Taf Reish Dalet. And in this part of the letter, Reb Noson is addressing to his son regarding the finalization of the printing and the shipping of the first volume of the Likutei Halachot. Reb Noson was ecstatic because in Reb Noson's eyes, one of his greatest feats, his greatest investments in making Rebbe Nachman's teachings available for the upcoming generations is his discourses in the Likutei Halachot, where through using logic and using insights of the Torah, he's able to show how far-reaching is Rebbe Nachman's teachings. To explain, Rebbe Noson's prayers in the Likutei Tfilot, as opposed to his discourses in the Likutei Halachot. In the Likutei Tfilot, Rebbe Noson is doing the best possible to express and clear and in a clear format the ideas of Rebbe Nachman's Likutei HaRan. Because when you're davening to Hashem, you have to be clear, right? Like it says by Yaakov Avinu, Hatzileni na miad achi miad Esav, right? He said, it's Parshat Vayishlach, when Yaakov found out that Esav is coming, so he started to get worried, and he said to Hashem in his prayer, Hashem, save me please from my brother, from Esav. So the Zohar asks the famous question, when Hashem doesn't know who's running after Yaakov, why wasn't it enough for Yaakov just to say, Hashem, save me? Why does Hashem save me from my brother, from Esav? Hashem knows he's your brother, and he knows your brother is Esav. Why be specific? So the Zohar says that when it comes to davening, you can't just assume. There are times when you're so broken and you can't express yourself because you're just overexhausted and overwhelmed. That's one thing. But when you are able to express clearly. So in the Likutei Tfilot, one of the best explanations of Likutei HaRan is Reb Noson's prayers. Unbelievable how clear he is in his presentation and the prayers. Likutei Halachot, on the other hand, also he explains Likutei Moran, but he shows you how Rebbe Nachman's lesson, any lesson, can be found anywhere in the Torah. You can take anywhere and connect it to a lesson. That's an amazing feat to do that, to show how the laws of Yom Kippur, the laws of milk and meat, the laws of separation between husband and wife, the laws of damages between neighbors, how they can be found in any lesson in Likutei Moran, and he gets the ball rolling for you. He shows you how one lesson, you can see it anywhere in life, and you can go with it. You can now use it and interpret the ideas of the lesson on your davening, on what you're learning in your Gemara session, in your Chumash Rashi, what's happening in the news today, what's happening in the world, what's happening in the family, what you saw in the supermarket today, on the bus. Everything comes alive with a lesson in Likutei Moran. And Reb Noson, he opens up the person's imagination to begin to develop that. It's phenomenal. So going back, for Reb Noson to finally have printed of the boundaries, which was Romania, and he sent Reb Nachman to print it in Yassi. And then the next stage of difficulty is how to smuggle the books back in, and in the payment, because they're all poor, the Breslov, and they wanted the on consignment, they wanted more money. And then when the next group of the printing was ready, more money. So there's a lot of details in having this book finalized, a lot of tests. So Reb Noson is going into this, and he reveals that there's a point now that he can no longer tell his son what to do. His son, Rav Yitzchak, was living in the city Tulchin, and he was in charge of the local post office, which is also a local bank. So because of that, he had access to many things that can help Reb Noson in the printing of the books. Also for shipping, if now, for example, crossing the border and then sending the books by post instead of schlepping them, would have been an easier way to get the books. Also the sending of the money in a guaranteed way, that it won't be lost or whatever, and it'll get there faster. So Reb Noson chose to do things to his son, Rav Yitzchak. So it reaches a point we're going to see, and this is what will be the focus of the class today, that Rav Noson is letting go and telling his son, I leave it up to you to make the right decisions. And then from this he goes into a beautiful Sicha from Rebbe Nachman's wisdom, Sichot HaRan, which we'll go into B'ezrat Hashem. So he starts off like this in this paragraph. And he goes, after saying Mazel Tov to his grandson who got engaged, after telling his son the miracles of the Shidduch, how he landed on the daughter of a Talmid Chacham for his grandson David Tzvi, the son of Yitzchak. So then now he goes back to talking about the merchandise, and because of the informers in the government, and they were opening up people's mails and everything, and also the opposition against Breslov, so he had to cover up that he was printing the books. He had to say in a very hidden format about merchandise. He uses the term merchandise instead of mentioning openly printing of the books. So he says like this. So now, behold, regarding our involvement in the merchandise, you brought life to me, my son, in your previous letter, very much. In other words, there was good news about its advancing and the sending of the books and the printing, etc. Hashem Yitbarach Yechaye Nafshecha V'Yoshiacha Mehera Beruchaniyut V'Gashmiyut. It's so touching to Reb Noson to have this book printed. Again, Reb Noson saw Rebbe Nachman's teachings and anything that can promote it as the major key way to bringing Mashiach to the world, to bringing the world to its tikkun. Reb Noson saw his mission in life to spread Rebbe Nachman's light as far and as quick and as good and as accessible as possible. So for him, this is a big thing to have his first book explaining Breslov. Until now, it was printing Rebbe Nachman's teachings, printing the Likutei Moran, Rebbe Nachman's stories, the Sichot HaRan, HaRan, okay? Then Reb Noson had derivative works, which is Likutei Tfilot, Likutei Etzot, which are all explaining what Rebbe Nachman is saying. But his own work, Likutei Halachot, which Rebbe Nachman told Reb Noson to do, he instructed him to start developing ideas on the code of Jewish law using Likutei Moran. This was a first. And Reb Noson knew that this would bring a major breakthrough in the teachings and the spreading of Rebbe Nachman's light in the world. So it's a big thing, this whole story here. So any good detail, even small, brought Reb Noson a lot back to life. He was worried all the time, what's happening and this and that. And it brought him a lot of wow, like a relief, because this is getting closer to its fruition, B'ezrat Hashem. So he says, Hashem blessed be He, should bring life to your soul and save you very soon from all the things you need in your spiritual, what's the word in English? Your aspirations and your physical needs. Va'ata, and now my son, ani somech alecha, shebevadai tishtadel bazeh bechol kochacha. So Reb Noson, there's only so much he can do. Plus, he's 64 years old. He was suffering from colitis. So Reb Noson had a lot of weakness, like about a year before he passed away, which is in this time. He was very weak before he passed away. You can see his koach is ebbing a little, and there's so much he can do. Previous letter, he's on every single detail of the merchandise, of the printing of the books. Now he's letting go a little bit. He's saying, and now my son, I rely on you. Ani somech alecha, I rely on you, I trust you, that bevadai, definitely, you will do your best, tishtadel bazeh bechol kochacha, with all your strength, you will be involved in completing the task of having the books paid for, printed, and sent here. V'ta'aseh hakol al tzad hayoter tov, and that you'll do everything on the better side, okay? I trust you that you'll do that. Be'ofen shiyagia hakol alechem mehera be'ezrat Hashem yitbarach, so that all the merchandise, which is the books, the printed books, should arrive to you in Tulchin quickly with the help of Hashem, blessed be He. And then he adds this point. This is amazing. He's reminding him what's the key. Utvakesh me'Hashem yitbarach shetaken otcha be'etza tova gam bazeh. And you should ask from Hashem, blessed be He, that He should fix you. In other words, give you a rectification, make things work out properly. Be'etza tova. You should ask Hashem to give you, to rectify that the situation should be done with good advice, even in this. There's such a holy, you're doing something holy already, but you also need, he's saying gambaze, even in this area. Why does he say also in this area? Because areas where you're not sure of what to do, okay, then makes sense that you have to ask Hashem, give me Eitzah Tova. We're going to go into this. This is something, one of the most powerful foundations of Rebbe Nachman's teachings, this concept of asking Hashem for good advice. Okay? And he said, but even in this area where it's pretty clear what to do, the sending of the money and then the packaging and the sending and the books and everything, he says, even in this, you must ask of Hashem to give you good advice, good counsel as to what to do. Ki kvar yadua lanu. Okay, because it's already known to us. What Rebbe Nachman said, this is from Rebbe Nachman's wisdom, 238. Sicha conversation 238. Shebakashat v'takenenu be'etzah tova milefanecha, that the request that we say every night in Arvit, in Mariv, right before the Shmoneh Esrei and Hashkivenu avinu leToratecha, we say these words, v'takenenu be'etzah tova milefanecha. Okay? And Hashem, please rectify us with good advice from before you. So we know already from Rebbe Nachman, Hi bakasha nora'a umuchrachat la'adam me'od b'chol et b'chol afanim, is a very big, awesome request, and very necessary for mankind, very much, at all times, and all situations. Let's take a look at this conversation. I'm going to have another copy here, and I don't think he has here either. But this is Rebbe Nachman's wisdom. I'll translate what it says here. I don't really see it here in this library. It's probably here somewhere. I wish I can't find it. Okay, it's like this. It's somewhere there. It's somewhere hiding. He has it for sure. Just know where he put it. So this, he says like this, Rebbe Nachman, in conversation 238. Rebbe Nachman was speaking to somebody. While he was speaking to him, b'toch kach shema echad shamitpalel tfilat arvit. While he was talking to this person, he heard somebody davening Arvit in the evening prayer, and the person was saying out loud, "V'amar v'takenenu be'etzah tova milefanecha." He was saying, he got to the words of the Hashkivenu prayer before the Kaddish and the Amidah, where he said the words, and Hashem, please rectify us with good advice, good counsel from before you. V'amar oto ha'ish b'mihirut elu atevot v'takenenu be'etzah v'chulei. And the person who was davening, the Rebbe Nachman heard davening, he was saying pretty fast these words, and Hashem rectifies with good advice. So, and Rabbeinu Zal, and Rabbeinu, blessed be He, blessed memory, blessed memory, he said, he said to the person who was standing next to him when he was talking to, do you see how this person is like just chopping the words quickly? These words from the evening, the Mari of davening, you see how he's saying these words, Hashem, rectify me with good counsel. He's saying it fast. בהתעוררות גדול ובכוונה גדולה מעומקא דליבה מאוד מאוד. You know, these words, you have to daven them with a tremendous arousal and with extreme concentration from the depths of the heart very, very much. כי זאת היא תפילה יקרה מאוד מאוד. Because this request that Hashem guide you with good advice is super duper precious. כי מאוד צריכים לבקש Rachamim Hashem Yitbarach, because we really have to ask compassion from Hashem blessed be He. Shenizkeh sheiten lanu Hashem Yitbarach etza tova, that we should be zocha, that He should give to us, Hashem, good advice. Shenizkeh leda ech litnaheg, that we should know how to conduct ourselves and do things that we want to do in life. V'davar zeh muvan me'od lechol mi she'rotze lichnos ba'avodat Hashem. And this thing is understood very much by anyone who wants to enter the pathways of serving Hashem, that you're going to need a lot of help in life and a lot of advice. That you're going to have to ask a lot of Hashem Yitbarach, blessed be He, for this. That we should be zoche to have good advice from Hashem, blessed be He. And I just want to continue the last part. He says this also in the beginning of Rebbe Nachman's wisdom, conversation number 2. V'amar al atzmo, Rebbe Nachman said about himself, כשמגיע היום, when a day starts, אני מוסר כל תנועות שלי, I give over all of my actions, my activities, my movements, של כל היום, that what's going to be coming up the upcoming day, I give over everything to Hashem, blessed be He. What does that mean? שיהיו כל התנועות שלי, that all of my actions, activities, my movements, V'shel banai, and of my children, V'shel ateluyim bin, all those who are dependent upon me, sheyu hakol kitzonoi yitbarach, that everything should be in line with the will of Hashem, blessed be He. V'chen, he said, he's taking an example. V'chen, keshemagia Shabbat or Yom Tov v'chayotze, and also when comes along Shabbos or Yom Tov, similar days, also ani moseh hayom Hashem, I say, Hashem, whatever turns out on this day, I want that it should be according to your will. I'm telling you clearly before the day comes, please Hashem, let the whole day go according to your will. That all the conduct that's going to be coming my way, my conduct with the Shabbat, should be according to the will of Hashem. So afterwards, so anyways, any way it turns out, how the day worked out by him, or the day of Shabbat, etc. He's no longer confused about how it didn't turn out well, the food didn't turn out well, and we got an argument at the table. I don't bother about these things. They don't bother me. Doesn't bother me. I wish it would have been better. It's chaval that I said that and this. I'm not bothered about it at all. Okay? So it's 2 things here. Reb Noson is focusing on the first point. The question is, if you have a question of what to do, go ask your rabbi. What's this thing of asking Hashem? You have a rabbi, you don't know what to do, go ask your rabbi. What's your problem? You don't have to do this, that. Why is saying Hashem, give me eitzah tova? Okay? First of all, there's only so much a rabbi can help you with. A rabbi mainly is someone who knows halacha better than you. His capacity of his brain and of halacha and of Talmud is very grasping, much better than you. So because of that, he knows, when you mention a scenario, he knows what's the proper way to do. A Rav can also help you sometimes in hashkafic questions of was this the right thing to do, on shidduchim, because from the knowledge of the Gemara, there's also information there in the halacha and the Gemara, and also by being around Gdolei Yisrael, he knows what to do, okay? But there's situations where you feel nobody understands you. Even when you speak to rabbis, there's only so much they can give to you, and you feel that the question you have and the difficulty you're going through is so profound and deep that you feel, even after speaking to them, you feel a big gap. It's not because you can't express, and when you hear the response, you feel that it's still shallow compared to what I'm hearing. It's not enough. It's more than this. And even when you try to explain more, you feel they don't know what's going on. Reb Noson talks about this in the Kutei Halachot. He says this is the difference between what's called the emes, the truth, and the emes, the real truth, the Emet LaAmito. Okay? Emet, you get that from the Torah. The Torah is Emet. The people who teach Torah, who know halacha, who are masters, they know Emet. But you're in scenarios in life where you feel lost and you need the Emet LaAmito. An example, okay? An example. Reb Noson was once offered by his father-in-law, Rav David Tzvi Orbach. He was a giant rabbi, a giant scholar. He was Av Beit Din. He was a judge in 3 villages. And many people were under him because of his knowledge of Torah and his holiness and purity. And he wanted to give Reb Noson a position of being a Rav in one of the cities that he was in charge of, like a Dayan. So Reb Noson wasn't sure, should I do this? Should I take this position? He didn't feel good about it. So he went to ask Rebbe Nachman about it. He said, should I take the position? Rebbe Nachman said, sure, why not? You're gifted. You know Shulchan Aruch. Your father-in-law taught you how to do psak, how to make a psak halacha. You know, who's more gifted than you to do this? Rav Noson still didn't feel good about the answer. And he pressed Rebbe Nachman. But is this the Emet LaAmito? Is this the real truth for me? Is this like in Yiddish, in Ashkenazi Hebrew? Is this the emes or emes? Is this the real truth for me? So Rebbe Nachman said, you want the real truth? Then don't become a Rav. Why? Because it'll take away from your personal avodat Hashem. You'll be too busy with people. You'll never be able to personally connect to Hashem. Your whole life will be sold for other people. It's true. A Rav needs to help the Jewish people, and it's a big mitzvah. But you, Rav Noson, and what you were created for, and what Rebbe Nachman saw the greatness of Rav Noson to spread his light and his teachings, it'll be like delayed and stopped if he became a halachic Rav. But it was up to Rav Noson what he's looking for. Rebbe Nachman can't force him to do it. He says, "What you're looking for the real truth, then don't become a Rav." And Rav Noson said, I thank Hashem for the rest of my life that I pressed Rebbe Nachman for the Emet LaAmito. He says, take a look. The emes, the truth, was one answer. Become a Rav. You qualify. You know halacha. You know how to do psak halacha. You're qualified. But now the real truth was 180 degrees opposite direction. He said, Rav Noson, take a look. You can have the emet is one thing, and the Emet LaAmito is exact opposite. Okay? You don't have access to tzaddikim like Rebbe Nachman, who could see right through you, like he said about himself. When I just shake someone's hand, I know everything about that person up to Adam HaRishon. All of his reincarnations, all the way up to Adam HaRishon. I know exactly the root of his soul when I just say Shalom Aleichem to anybody. Rebbe Nachman said about himself. Okay, we don't have tzaddikim like that accessible. What we do have accessible today is the advice of talking to Hashem from the bottom of your heart and asking Him for true eitzah. Rav Noson brings a verse from Psalms, from Tehillim, chapter 25, where King David says, David HaMelech says, Hadricheni ba'amitecha. Hashem, guide me according to your truth. Amitecha. Not my truth. Guide me according to your truth. Because I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what the real truth is. I have my opinions and this and that, but I don't know if this is the real deal. That's the beauty of a person. Where a person, he's sure about things, but at the end he says, still, I don't know if my hashkafa, my perspective things, is in line with Hashem's real truth. Like Pirkei Avot says, Al tamin batzmach ad yom motach. Don't trust yourself into the day of death. Don't think, oh, I know. We see many people with that attitude, even in Judaism. Yeah, I know. And they take on like a chutzpah attitude because they feel they know, and they just crashed afterwards in life. People went with such a solid, they're so sure that they do things and they cause problems and fights and this, and then you see them 10 years later, they're no longer here. They left, they fell off totally. What's the idea? Is you do things in life, but on condition of the gray area, which is what? But I'm always davening. That's what Reb Noson is saying here. That you need to daven to Hashem. Please give me good advice. The people who make it in life, Reb Noson has a lot. It's beautiful what Reb Noson writes in the Likutei Halachot on this topic. So the person could be living a life of sheker. He could be living a life which is not right. It's total falsehood. Okay, but because he's sincere and he's honest and he keeps on asking Hashem, he's always doubting. Hashem, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. If I'm doing the right thing, then keep me on this path. And if this is not the right thing, then bring me to do the right thing. So someone who's even in a life of sheker, Reb Noson says a person who comes to false leaders, false leadership, that they're not the real tzaddikim who can really guide a person, but he doesn't know otherwise, he doesn't know anything better. But that person is sincere and honest, and he keeps on pushing to strive to find the real truth, even if he falls from mistakes because of the erroneous derech he's taken in his life, Hashem can easily bring him back up and bring him on the right path. So your weapon is this, asking Hashem, give me good advice. I want the Emet LaAmito. In the 13 attributes of mercy, you have Kel, Rachum, V'chanun, Erech Apayim, you have Chesed, number 7, which is the middle, because you have 6 here and 6 here. There's 13 attributes of mercy. They're shaped, the result is like a pyramid. So Kel, Rachum, V'chanun, Erech Apayim, V'rav Chesed, that's up to 6. Number 7 is Ve'emet, and truth. Right? These are the 13 attributes. Kel, Rachum, a God who's compassionate and loving. Erech Apayim, patient, right? V'rav Chesed, full of abundant of kindness. Ve'emet, and truth. And then goes on. So number 7 is considered the highest of the 13 attributes. It's like a pyramid. And that attribute of Hashem is ve'emet, which means and truthful. The word and, ve, is to indicate not just truth, but the truth of the truth. Ve, additional truth. The truth of the truth. And the Arizal says, and Reb Noson, I think he brings this down, that when a Jew goes with Hashem's real truth, meaning, I have no idea what is the right thing to do in life, but I'm asking Hashem constantly that whatever I'm doing should be in line with His emet, His truth, and if it's not, then Hashem should push me and bring me to the right truth. This is the greatest shield in all of creation. The greatest protective force a Jew has is to ask Hashem to be in line with His emet. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Many people fall because of mistakes. They made, very dangerous and deadly mistakes and dead-end mistakes, and they fall. But someone who makes mistakes, but at the same time is always asking Hashem, please Hashem, guide me according to your truth, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Even if you fall, Hashem creates an opening for you to continue. Okay? This is how powerful this Sikha is. They make a big deal about this in Breslov, because the whole hashkafa of Rebbe Nachman's teachings is this idea, that you got to be looking high. You got to be looking for the real truth. And the only way to do that is you have to ask Hashem for advice. You can ask Rabbanim, yes, I have halachic questions, I have a rabbi, no problem. I have also hashkafic things, I'm a new Baal Tshuva, a newbie, so I need guidance of basics in Jewish hashkafa from religious people, I need that. But there's certain decisions which are so difficult for shidduchim. What type of school should I put my child in? How should I dress? Should I wear a long bekeshe, have my pants behind my ears, a trimmed beard? All these things, you can ask 500 rabbanim, and you get different answers. And you have your Rav, but you don't know if your Rav now is really the real thing for you. So you have all these doubts. You see other Jews doing like this and that. Am I supposed to be an X on him? I'm right, and the only way for me to do what I'm doing and to put myself into it is by putting an X on the other person. Is that the right attitude? He's wearing a shtreimel, I'm not. So I put an X on him because that's not the way. My way is the right way. To justify my way, I have to, in my head, subconsciously, they're doing the wrong thing, These people, they do Shabbos like that. They do like this. They eat kidneys. They do yash. I don't know what I'm just saying. All these things. Is that the way? That's not the way. The way is not to look at other people, but look forward to Hashem. Hashem, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is the real truth. I don't know if the rabbi that I had chosen in my life to ask questions, if it's the real truth. So therefore I'm asking you, Hashem, give me Eitzah Tovah. Here you see, Rebbe Nachman didn't say to ask your rabbi. And not just Rebbe Nachman. It's in the davening. It's in Mariv. Anshe Knesset HaGdolah, they put it in a prayer that we say every day. Every night in Mariv, which is the beginning of the new day, we say Takenenu Be'etzat tova milefanecha. Hashem, rectify me with good etzah. Why are you asking Hashem this? Ask your rabbi. He's showing the chachamim, the sages, the Torah is showing you need both. Yes, you need rabbis to ask, but it's within a bigger cup. The big cup is you asking Hashem. If you never ask Hashem, you have no guarantee that your hashkafa is in line with the real truth. You have people, they're very narrow-minded. They have their truth. They think this is the right way, and there's no other way. That's it. Okay? I recently, just if I can be a bit personal, so Baruch Hashem, I have a daughter who's getting married, Baruch Hashem, and the Chatan, he's Sephardic background, but he likes davening Nusach Sfard, like Hasidic, okay? So the person involved with the monetary issue on his side, so he's a very super duper brisker litvak and everything, and the issue comes up of having the wedding in Yerushalayim or not. Why is that an issue? Because if you're going to have a wedding in Yerushalayim, so the minhag is by the Ashkenazim and by the Prushim, that there's no musical instruments at a wedding in Yerushalayim. Only drums and vocals, that's it. Sfardim, we don't have that takana, they never did. Full tizmort, make them happy. Nachon, it's Yerushalayim, and we have to mourn. That's why we smash the glass under the chuppah to remember the destruction of the temple, even that's chachamim. But they make an additional step, the Prushim and the Briskers and the Litvaks and the strong Yerushalmi Ashkenazim. It's not enough. Also in the wedding, you have to diminish the simcha, no musical instruments. So the Chatan and Kal say maybe we should do the wedding in Beit Shemesh, outside of Yerushalayim, so we have the musical instruments. But I said, but that's if you're Sephardic, okay, you're acting Hasidic, but you're Sephardic from the root. They asked the Rav, okay, no problem. So the guy involved in the shidduch, he says, there's no question here. For sure, you can't have a wedding in Yerushalayim with music. For sure not. What's the question here? I said, at least let him ask a Rav. Let him ask his Rav. He said, but it's not a question. I insisted, let him ask at least, okay? Can he ask? Okay, fine. But I'm telling you, if he now does Nusach Sfard, there's no music, forget it. And the Rav said, you by your root, you're Moroccan. You became Hasidic. Okay, it's anyways mixed up a little. You really want music at your wedding. On one hand, you also want to have a wedding in Yerushalayim, because of Yerushalayim, a wedding in Yerushalayim, oh my God, okay? And at the same time, there's the music issue. Yeah, that's okay. You got this leniency. But the thing was, some people, they're so sure. No, it's for sure, definite. And then you see that there's a different opinion, okay? So people are very narrow-minded in their perspective, because again, it's their truth. But did you ever ask Hashem for His truth? Yeah, every day ask it. Like Rebbe Nachman said, Me'umka deliba. This prayer, you can't say it if you don't rush it. You don't rush the words, V'takenenu beitzah tova milefanecha. You say it with all your heart. Me'umka deliba, with concentration. Do you know how much you need this prayer in your life? Do you know how much you're going to need Hashem's advice in your life? Do you know? And if you never ask from the bottom of your heart, what are you going to get? You get stuck. Dead ends, okay? If it's divorces, chas shalom, or things like detrimental things happening, you feel, my life is over, it's finished. How did you get here, man? How did you get here? Did you ever ask Hashem in the first place? Did you even once, sincerely, ask Hashem, please Hashem, guide me. Not just help me, Hashem. I'm saying, Hashem, help me to do what I think is right. No. Hashem, help me to do what you think is right. I don't know, I'm just trying to do what you want. And I have no idea what it is you want, Hashem. So give me advice. I just want to do what you want. Hashem, you make me frustrated. The situation makes me frustrated. I begin to doubt. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? What do you want from me, Hashem? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Am I on the wrong boat? I took the wrong train? I took the wrong train tracks and went on the wrong direction? I don't know. So ask Hashem. Tell that. Don't keep it inside. No, okay, I have to ask my Rav. I have to ask my Rav. I have to ask my Rav. Every 5 seconds. Come on. You're going to need Hashem in your life. Okay? It's not limited to a Rav. We're not chas v'shalom pushing down asking a Rav. You're going to need to ask a Rav. You need a Rav in your life. But the bulk of your life, the whole entirety, no rabbi can take responsibility for you and your reincarnations and your tikkun. For that, you have no choice to go a step higher, and you have to ask Hashem. Hashem, I want my whole life to be in your hands. And the Chachamim themselves push that. It's in your davening. It's not a Rebbe Nachman idea. It's in the davening. Hashem, we're asking you for advice. It's David HaMelech. Like we said, Hadjicheni b'amitecha, guide my life according to your truth. If everything was just to ask your rabbi, so why is King David saying this? Why? He didn't have rabbis? He had rabbis accessible. He had Sanhedrin available. No, you have to still ask Hashem. And when you ask Hashem, you got to put all your effort into that. So going back to Reb Noson's words, Kikvar, he said, my son, Utvakesh me'Hashem yitbarach shetaken otcha be'etzat tova gam bazeh. And you ask from Hashem, blessed be He, that He fixes you with a good counsel, good advice, which is to come to the truth, to do the right thing, even in this holy endeavor that anyways things are Baruch Hashem in a simple direction. Even here, ask Hashem what to do. Kikvar yadua lanu, because it's already known to us, and he's reminding his son this famous Sichot HaRan. Rebbe Nachman's wisdom is such an important book in Breslov literature. You know, Rabbi Rosenfeld, when anyone would want to start learning Breslov, he would say the first book always is Rebbe Nachman's wisdom. It's number one. And it's known in all Breslov circles. A person comes to Breslov, don't start Likutei Moran and wow ideas and sechel, oh wow, hasagon. Hello, mister, let's get to the practical of Breslov. You want that? Go to Rebbe Nachman's wisdom first, Sichot HaRan, and get the basics. In the introduction from Reb Nachman Tutchener, who printed Sichot HaRan the second time. First time was printed by Reb Noson. He put part of it in the back of Rebbe Nachman's stories, like a year after Rebbe Nachman passed away, 1811, 1812. So he printed in, what's the city again? What's the name? It's on the border between Moldova and Ukraine. Mogilov. He printed in Mogilov the first edition of these conversations, and not all of them. After Reb Noson passed away, Reb Nachman Tutchener, his disciple, he arranged all the scattered conversations Reb Noson wrote and put together in this book called Sichot HaRan. And he writes in the introduction a wording, I don't have it here, but it's a wording that this book contains all of the teachings of Breslov. And it's true. You want in a nutshell what Rebbe Nachman's teachings are? Learn Sichot HaRan. Learn Rebbe Nachman's wisdom. Okay? So again, Kikvar yadua lanu. So we know, it's already like a rule by us. That this request of Hashem fix us, rectify us with good advice from before you, He bakasha nora'ah. See, Reb Noson adds a word that Rebbe Nachman didn't say in the conversation. It's a nora'ah. It's an awesome. It's a nora means like trepidation with awe and trepidation. Awesome. That's the good word. It's an awesome prayer, a request. Umuchrachat, and this necessary request, le'adam me'od, for a man very much in his life, he's going to need this, bechol et, always, bechol ha'ofanim, and in any scenario. This is something you go with. I'm going with Torah and mitzvot and my Jewish community and rabbis, but more than this, everything's in a bigger cup, and that cup is, I'm always asking Hashem, guide me. It's like Rabbi Yitzchak Bender said about Hitbodedut, because basically what you're doing is you are asking Hashem to guide you. In Hitbodedut, you're telling Hashem everything, you're pouring everything, and the goal is to get feedback from Hashem. So he would say, Rabbi Yitzchak Bender, that Hitbodedut is like the blind man's walking stick. The blind man doesn't see that there's a pit in front of him, that there's a road, there's a car coming, that there's stairs going up here. He doesn't see. The walking stick indicates to the blind person, there's a wall here, okay, so go to the left. There's steps coming up, there's a wall in front of me, make a right. Oh, I see that now there's like a major hole here, so I can't walk here at all. The walking stick shows the blind person where to go in life. That's Hitbodedut. Hitbodedut is basically synonymous with asking Hashem to guide me. Because if it wasn't that, you wouldn't be doing Hitbodedut. You'd be satisfied with Shachar, Mincha, Maariv, and maybe saying some Tehillim and some prayers from the Shlach Kadosh, whatever. You'd be happy with that. But that you're doing Hitbodedut and you're putting your personal scenarios into Hashem's, in presenting Hashem with what you're going through and being open about it. So you are basically asking Hashem to guide you. So Rav Noson, on one hand, he let go. He says, I give to you, my son, Moser Alecha, that you will definitely do everything proper to get this book out and receive, that we can receive the books. I think he printed at least 1,000 copies of Likutei Halachot. When they printed books back then, the main goal was 1,000 copies back then. Something so big, Rav Noson let go, but he says to his son, make sure you daven to Hashem to give you Eitzah Tova, because that's the key for everything in life, B'ezrat Hashem. Okay, we'll stop here. That was heavy stuff. We should be zocheh
to fulfill all this and be strong in these pathways set to us. All right. Stop here.